ready.
Welcome. We're going to go ahead and start. Oh, all right. Welcome to the, can you hear me? Welcome to the January 29th, 2026 special meeting of the RTM. I will call the meeting to order at 8 p.m. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Peter Britton, Doug Niffen, Melissa Longo, Brooks Baracino, Scott Bissang,
Here.
Scott Cook Littman, Craig Diamond, Gil Larson, Ashby Dodge, Ann Fiffick, Mike Hardigan, Cindy Waldron, Jen Hawhuth, Laura Carson, Michelle McCabe, Liz Esma, Betsy Elrick, Josh Garskoff, Sharon Pastilli, Jay Walk, Emma Barron, Rob Blanchard, Eric Juniak, Tracy Rodriguez, Steve Barretts, Lori Galdenzi, John Kuhn, Scott Nickel, Lenny Brayman, Chris Carroll, Rich Jacobs,
Here.
Eileen O'Reilly, Drew Georgiadis, Lisa Havey, Amanda Morgan, Karen Wackerman, Matt Ambrose, Justin Contrado, Margaret Horton, here, Pierre Ratsky.
All right. Will you all please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Sorry, I wrote my notes the other day before it was now a special meeting. So item number 2, to hear an address on the state of the town by the first select person. I would like to invite our first select person, Christine Vitale, to the podium to give our state of the town address.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to apologize in advance for taking water breaks because I'm losing my voice. Members of the RTM, distinguished guests, valued staff, and fellow citizens. For the past 7 months, I've had the honor of leading Fairfield as your first select person. When I look back on 2025, I am reminded of how life can change in an instant. 2025 was the year we tragically lost my friend and our first selectman, Bill Gerber. I wish I could turn back time and have him here with us. I've been thinking about what he would want to share with you if he were here. There are 2 things that Bill would probably mention. First, he would be talking about how incredible it was that Fairfield National went all the way to the Little League World Series. I know that that has been one of my favorite Fairfield memories of this past year. Our community united and proud, cheering for our kids. And second, Bill would definitely mention the improvement to the sewer system. As you know, it was a recurring theme for him. 2025 was a year that we came together as a community to both grieve and celebrate. It was a year that reaffirmed the strength, compassion, and hope of our community. Even during times of transition, we have come together to keep Fairfield moving forward. 2025 showed us just how resilient we are, and I'm here tonight to report that the state of Fairfield is strong. Our strength is reflected in our AAA bond rating. Our strong financial resilience supports successful, competitive bond sales each year, which help fund our capital projects. Our strength is reflected in our stellar public schools. 7 of our public schools were recognized as being schools of distinction by the Connecticut Department of Education. Our strength is reflected in our 2 top-tier universities, Fairfield University and Sacred Heart University, which bolster our local economy and serve as a resource for talent, culture, and recreational opportunities. Our strength is reflected in our vibrant town center with its array of restaurants, businesses, and a state-designated cultural district celebrating our art scene. We have welcomed over 60 new businesses to town this year, and we continue to have a strong partnership with our Chamber of Commerce. Our strength is in our ability to work together to affect change. We raised our voices to fight the UI monopole project and the sale of Aquarian. Our strength is reflected in our protection of the environment and open spaces. We added 28 acres to already existing 1,300 acres of open space this past year. We are building a new ecological education center on Sturgis Road near the Mill River, and we are in the process of developing a master flood plan, which will address both coastal and riverine flooding. Our strength is reflected in our generosity. We support so many nonprofit organizations, and the outpouring of donations that came in when federal SNAP benefits paused were truly inspiring. We are a community that cares for each other and shows up for each other. In the next 15 minutes or so, I'd like to talk about several important topics, give a little detail about what's happening in town, and share my vision for Fairfield. I'd like to start by talking about our greatest strength, our people. Those who have chosen Fairfield to live, work, visit, study, or start a business. We are committed to making Fairfield the best it can be for them. I would like to thank our town employees, including our police and fire departments, dispatch officers, public health nurses, public works employees, our educators, and the over 200 volunteers who serve on our appointed and elected boards and commissions. Thank you for your hard work, expertise, and dedication to our community. We are incredibly fortunate to have such talented people serving, protecting, and educating our residents. You all make Fairfield stronger. The strength and resiliency of an organization relies heavily on attracting and retaining highly qualified personnel. Our human resources are among our town's most valuable assets. We have a great team who bring fresh ideas, energy, and the experience needed to move key initiatives forward. When I took office, I immediately brought in Lee Palmer, an experienced human resources professional, to advise on recruitment and HR policies and procedures. In the past 6 months, we welcomed our new Director of DPW, Frank Batiste, Director of Risk Management, Joseph Barbera, Controller, Anthony DeFelice, and Benefits Manager, Judy Warner. I'm excited to share that our new Director of Human Resources, Regina Williams, will be starting on Monday. Of course, the new hire that everyone is most excited about, and our social media star, Penny, the police K-9's unit's new bloodhound. Penny will strengthen the police department's ability to locate missing persons with speed and precision, and she is guaranteed to put a smile on your face. We should have brought her here tonight. The most important job of a chief elected official is ensuring public safety, and I'd like to touch on what we're doing in that area. The safety of our residents is our top priority, and we are so incredibly fortunate to have fire and police departments that not only protect and serve, but also care deeply about the well-being of our community. Our new police chief, Michael Paris, has hit the ground running and has established a dedicated neighborhood enforcement team consisting of 3 officers and a supervisor who will be focused on addressing quality of life issues and persistent neighborhood concerns. This team strengthens our community policing approach by providing targeted enforcement, proactive problem solving, and faster response to recurring complaints around town. They were helpful in our work this year with Fairfield University to change SantaCon from a dangerous out-of-towners party of more than 20,000 people to a private fun event hosted by Fairfield University. We have also made major technology upgrades through Axon to ensure our police officers have the safest and the most effective tools available to support accountability, officer safety, and operational efficiencies. These investments in public safety will enable us to continue to deliver the highest standards of service to our community. Fire Chief Kieran Dunn has stepped up to not only lead the fire department, but has assumed the role of the town's emergency management director. We have made key investments in fire equipment, including the purchase of a new fireboat and ladder engines. This past year, we made the important staffing enhancement of having our rescue and ladder trucks staffed with officers. The Regional Dispatch Center, led by Joe Gaudet, is continuing to grow. We will be welcoming Easton to the center this spring, which will bring in additional revenue and enhance mutual aid for all member towns. Let's move on and talk about the future. 2026 promises to be an exciting year for Fairfield. We will be celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, and we will look back on our town's history. When we look back, we can appreciate just how resilient we are. In 1779, the British set Fairfield on fire. And what do? We rebuilt and we grew. In the 1800s, railroads, steamships, and Bridgeport industry brought newcomers to Fairfield. Throughout our history, Fairfield has provided an opportunity to people across the world to start a new life. We love being a quaint coastal town, but we also aren't afraid of changing with the times. Fairfield is at a crossroads, and as tempting as it may be to stand still or turn back time, we need to be proactive and plan for the future. And that is exactly what we are doing. In 2025, we spent a lot of time updating plans. In 2026, we will be turning those plans into action. Our governing plan is our town charter. We have been operating under a charter that was over 20 years old. In November, the electorate voted in favor of updating the town's governing document. I thank the past two charter revision commissions and the Board of Select Persons for the time, diligence, and hard work they put into proposing revisions to the 2006 charter. The new revisions will improve town operations, bring more oversight to the water pollution control utility, and reflect the current needs of our town boards, commissions, and departments. Our plan of conservation development is a critical plan that also needed updating. The Town Plan and Zoning Commission recently adopted a new POCD, which will help guide future development and land use. The plan maintains our residential neighborhoods, protects our open space, and offers a roadmap for redevelopment and revitalization of our commercial corridors. For the past several decades, developers were able to bypass our local zoning regulations under A30G state statute to move high-density housing projects forward. In 2025, we secured Fairfield's first ever housing moratorium, temporarily halting new A30G applications through March of 2029. We are well on our way of earning enough housing points to achieve our second moratorium, which will give us an additional 5-year pause. I know that there has been concern about the impact of the new state legislation, House Bill 002, and how it affects our A30G moratorium. HB 8002 is largely a planning document. The legislation provides resources and incentives which can help make it easier for municipalities to earn housing points and reach a moratorium from A30G even faster. Now is the time for us truly to take local control. We are poised to control our own destiny and the destinies of our children. As we look to the future, we need to keep Fairfield affordable and accessible to all ages. It is very hard for young adults and families to find housing that they can afford in Fairfield. There are limited options for seniors who may want to downsize and still stay in the community they love. It is becoming harder for people who work in Fairfield to be able to live in Fairfield. This includes our firefighters, our police officers, our teachers, and the staff that keep our town running. Wouldn't it be great to have more diverse housing options so our kids could afford to live in the town they grew up? I think so. Do we want to look like a city with high-rise buildings throughout town? No. We can remain a picturesque suburban town and at the same time offer more affordable and accessible housing options. We can keep our town center bustling, but also make it more pedestrian friendly. Commercial corridors that are walkable with green spaces, artwork, and gathering spots support our local economy and reinforce our sense of community. Let's create stronger, more vibrant neighborhoods. One way to do that is through our Complete Streets plan. First Selectman Gerber was passionate about this Complete Streets model, and we have made great progress this past year in moving that work forward. Let me bring you up to date. The town has received a Safe Streets for All planning grant, which will provide $350,000 to assist in the development of a safety action plan that will guide us in making our streets safer for all users. We recently received a second Safe Streets demonstration grant in the amount of $300 to pilot some projects designed to reduce cut-through traffic that diverts traffic off of I-95. Investing in our town's infrastructure is vital to our future success. Guiding that work is our 10-year capital plan that contains over $500 million of town, school, and WPCA improvements. Our capital projects team has worked hard to refine this plan throughout the year. They monitor project status and continually update our capital waterfall. Remain focused on moving things forward and keeping our debt service below 10% of our total expenditures. Our project managers and our town engineers have been busy this year, maintaining and improving our infrastructure. We completed full replacement of tie gates at South Pine Creek and finished the Riverside Drive Turney Creek culvert. We've gone out to bid for the Rooster River flood mitigation project. The design phase of the police department renovation is nearing completion, and we have completed schematic designs for all 5 fire stations. And we have just begun working with an architect for the renovation of the Fairfield Woods Branch Library, which is exciting. And Bill Gerber would be very happy to know, loving sewers, that the work on the East Trunk Sewer Line and Phase 1 of upgrades to the WPCU are underway. We just received notification of a $900,000 in federal funding for pump station upgrades, which is one of the ways we will bring revenue to town projects without relying solely on taxpayer funding. Last spring, the town conducted a school feasibility study to help inform decision-making on future school building projects. After review of the study, town board supported building a new school at Dwight Elementary School campus, which will include dedicated space for early childhood learning and special education programming. We are planning and building for future generations. Now I'd like to move on from infrastructure and talk a little bit about services, specifically our new community services department. Taking care of our community is at the heart of what we do. Last year, First Selectman Gerber consolidated Parks and Recreation and the Department of Human Services under the umbrella of Community Services. Anthony Calabrese and Julie DeMarco have been working together to expand the services we offer residents of all ages and abilities. We have increased usage of the Bigelow Center for additional community programming and are continuing to respond to the needs of our residents. This past year, we hired a new full-time youth services social worker, Emily Larkin, to expand capacity and to engage and support youth and families through prevention, early intervention, case management, and crisis response. We have retained an architect to begin work on the new adaptive recreation facility, complete with new ADA-compliant inclusive playground. The Bigelow Center was designated as a regional focal point for aging by the Southwestern Connecticut Agency on Aging, recognizing its role as a trusted hub for wellness programs, transportation, and nutritional services. I would like to thank Brenda Steele and her staff for making the senior center the coolest place to be. There is so much going on there. I encourage you to all check it out. We just shared with you a number of initiatives that this administration is working on to improve the lives of Fairfielders. All of this, as we know, comes with a cost. Delivering best-in-class public safety, maintaining our stellar school system, financing multi-million-dollar infrastructure projects, and delivering the top-notch community services Fairfielders rely on means the administration needs to be laser-focused on squeezing the most out of every taxpayer dollar while continually searching for other funding sources. We are in the beginning of budget season. I've now spent over 40 hours meeting with individual departments going over their budget requests for the next fiscal year. These meetings will continue over the next several weeks, and very soon, our finance team and I will be pulling together all this data into the first select person's proposed budget. The largest share of that budget will come from the Board of Education. This past Tuesday, the Board of Ed adopted their proposed fiscal year 27 budget. They're requesting a 5.53% increase, and this is largely driven by contractual obligations, salaries, healthcare benefits, and transportation. We are very cognizant of the impact of the state-mandated property revaluation will have on next year's taxes. Since 2020, residential properties in Fairfield have increased in value by about 65%, and commercial properties by 18%. This is similar to other municipalities in Connecticut. Housing stock is low and buyers are paying top dollar. Residential properties, however, are now encompassing a larger portion of the grand list than commercial properties. As we finalize the town budget, difficult decisions will need to be made as we work to keep Fairfield affordable while also maintaining the essential services our residents rely upon to keep Fairfield such a desirable place to live. I highly encourage residents to stay engaged in the budget process. attend budget meetings, share your thoughts with the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, RTM, as they begin their budget review. The proposed town budget will be posted in mid-February in the annual budget section on the Finance Department's webpage. We continue to look for new ways to make our government run more efficiently and effectively, to both save money and to provide better service to our residents. Our purchasing department is moving from traditional paper bids to a modern e-procurement system called Bonfire that will encourage participation from a wider audience of potential bidders and modernize the way town catalogs and monitors contracts. Our new risk manager is developing a comprehensive town-wide risk profile to better identify emerging risks and prioritize mitigation efforts. This will help town leadership identify lost drivers, reduce the likelihood of serious incidents, and help ensure that our tax dollars are preserved for the services our community relies on. We are continuing to roll out a human resources information system, which has been a critical tool in tracking time and attendance and enabling us to have better oversight over payroll. Managing expenses is just one way to lower taxes. Increasing revenue is another. We are continually looking for grants and other non-town funding sources to offset expenses. In the year ahead, our grants manager will be evaluating grant management software. By automating and streamlining our grants process, which is now entirely manual, we will be able to secure significantly more funding than we do today. In the last year, I am proud to report that the town has secured over $10 million in grants. We are building a stronger Fairfield thanks to you. In summary, we are excited to pull all these plans into action in the year ahead. We look forward to engaging the community and working with the RTM and other town boards to keep Fairfield moving forward. I'd like to thank the team in the First Select Person's office for their help on this speech. Chief of Staff Christine Brown, Deputy Chief of Staff Jen Carpenter, Communications Director Lisa Clare, and Constituents Relations Coordinator Sarah Mason. Thank you. I thank them for all their support these past 7 months. The next year holds so many opportunities, and I hope we can embrace them together. Thank you.
Thank you, First Select Person Vitale. I have throat drops in my bag if you need them. All right. So moving forth with our agenda, item number 3 is to receive the report from the First Select Person or her designee on leases of town properties. We heard this report at our informational meeting last week. Item number 4, to hear a report from the Blight Officer concerning condemnation in blight. We also heard this last week. Item number 5, to receive a report from the Police Chief or his designee on the full list of noise complaints received. We also heard that last week. Item number 6, to receive a report from the First Select Person or her designee regarding the recovery of costs related to properties with breaches of the peace, public disturbances, and disorderly conduct. Again, received that last week. And then item number 7, to receive a report from the Traffic Authority on its activities. We have Kevin Kiley from the Traffic Authority here to give that report. And you just need to make sure that the green light is lit so people online can hear you.
You don't need to see my. Good evening. So just about a year ago, this body legislatively created the Fairfield Traffic Authority, following state legislation allowing such local traffic authorities to be formed to govern traffic decisions that towns are able to make. Every town does it differently. Some towns create an authority like we have. In some towns, the police commission does it, which is pretty standard. And in some towns, even the Board of Selectmen or the mayor can be the traffic authority. There are many options that we can go with. We chose to create a traffic authority and we put together the body earlier this year. So first, I want to thank you, Madam Moderator, First Selectman Vitale, and members of the RTM for inviting us to present the first annual report of the Fairfield Traffic Authority. We have a report in front of us that I emailed out prior to this. This is essentially the same report. A couple edits, a couple minor changes to it, but it is basically the same information that you should have seen via email. And I am not going to read this entire report. It is 6 pages full of data, full of information, some of the projects we have done, and some of the projects we're looking forward to do. So do not be concerned about that. I want to first thank the members of the Fairfield Traffic Authority for their hard work and for their dedication, dedicating themselves to safeguarding our roads and for making our first year truly a success, despite an expected learning curve. Brand new body, brand new commission, brand new group of people. It's never been done before. So we had to both learn what needed to be done operationally, but also learn how to work within town departments and within other organizations to make it happen. So let me introduce the members of the commission. It's right off the website. Some of them are here tonight. Migha Jain is our vice chairman, and she has done a fantastic job as our vice chairman. Emmeline Harrigan is our secretary. Our other members are, we have a representative from the police department. It's Chief Michael Paris. But in most cases, Lieutenant Jeremy Zedrew has been attending the meetings and taking the lead from the police department. Anthony Calabrese from Parks and Rec, Bill Hurley, Frank Patiche, your new Public Works Director, who has added a lot of value to our commission, and he's doing a wonderful job as our new Director of Public Works. And congratulations to how they handled the roads during these last 2 storms. It's been an amazing job. And we have 2 very, very high quality alternates, Michael Freemuth and Town Planning and Zoning member Jeff Randolph. This information is on town website. Our mission statements here, what we do, and what our goals are also there as well. So the other people I want to thank is I do want to thank First Select Person Christine Vitale and your staff for your ongoing support and leadership, helping us get going and helping us get off the ground and helping merge together all the people that had to come to the meetings to make sure that we got everything done properly. On a personal note, I do want to go back and thank Migha Jain again for her contributions. We would not be here tonight without her efforts. She spends hundreds of hours in addition to her daytime job in the engineering department, working on Fairfield Traffic Authority matters and helping us in every way. So thank you very, very much. She is also the creator of most of this report. Great job. So our year 1 goals were pretty simple. We're a new body, so our goals were to listen, to learn, and to grow and find out what we needed to do to make our roads safer and to make our citizens safer as well. Putting together our organization, our people, our process, getting inputs from various departments and directions, and also understanding and creating workflow that helped us understand all of the issues that were before us. And we've been working to create basic things: safer streets, greater access for our citizens to be able to reach us, to let us know what their concerns are so that we can evaluate them, we can use data to make good decisions, and we can find solutions. And the last thing that we've really worked hard on is improved communications. More communication within town departments, more communication with the administration and the first selectman's office, and they have been a tremendous success for us. And a lot of communications with the CSLT, which is the Complete Streets Leadership Team. That is a very important cog in this wheel to make sure that every street is as safe as humanly possible. So with those goals completed, and I believe the commission did a really good job putting together this report and putting together the decisions that we made this year, I'll just touch on a couple high points throughout this report. Okay? The mission statement is obvious. We've talked about it. The volume of requests and inquiries is very important. We get inputs from 10, 12 different sources. They come from inside town hall. They come from departments. They come from citizens. They come online. They come via phone. They come via email. They come via in person. They come in many forms and many shapes. So what we have to do is take all of that information, analyze it, direct it, respond to it, find data that pertains to it, and then find solutions to the problems. So what we've done on page 1 and 2 is talk a little bit about what those inputs are and what the natural output should be. And the natural outputs really are communication and getting everything pushed back through the Q alert system so that we can have one single source of input into our body so that we can understand what needs to be done. So that covers really page 1 and page 2. It talks about who we are, what we've done, the type of issues that come before us, and what our general approach is to solving the issues. Pages 3 and 4 talk about some of the projects that we've worked on. I will not go through these chapter and verse, but we have looked at smaller issues, a stop sign here, a crosswalk here, many of the micro things that are important to solving safety issues. And the other things that we're starting to take a broader look at is the macro issues. You know, the neighborhood of, say, New England Avenue really qualifies for it. For anyone that knows that area, it's a big hill. It goes from Tungus Hill. It goes over from Kings Highway up and over. Visibility's bad. There's no sidewalks on one side. There's parking, there's trucks. So there isn't one thing that's going to fix that neighborhood. It's going to take a larger, longer, more thoughtful and global approach to solve that problem. So those are the types of things that we're tackling looking forward. So in addition to the nuts and bolts things that we work on every month, we have these larger projects that we need to keep an eye on. And the other larger project is the Station Street project in Southport. A similar issue, big problems, and it needs a global solution that we need to work together with town departments and other people to make sure that we find solutions that work for everyone. We've done a lot of work calming traffic or traffic calming measures on Old Post Road. You may have noticed the work we've done over there. We've done a lot of work at the Ward parking lot. Another decision that we have worked on is the speed cameras at the schools, at our schools. You know, we are putting in cameras at 6 different schools. It'll be between 12 and 14 cameras. It's a well-documented decision that's gone legislatively through our town, and it's gone through the police commission. So that's another project that we've worked on. And the list goes on and on and on. So looking forward, what we really want to leave the RTM with is the fact that even though we're new, we got a lot of work done. We looked at some small projects. We took a backlog of issues that was this long. Megai's desk was, it was probably this tall from issues and concerns. We don't have complaints, we have concerns. And we've taken that list and we have it down now to an open list of what, 15 items maybe, right? So it's a much more manageable number of things that we can look at, we can evaluate. We're very, very data driven. Much like I am in my corporate world, if you come to me with a problem and you just tell me the problem, I'm going to send you back out and ask you for what the problem really is, what's the data that pertains to it, and how can we work together with that data, with that knowledge, with that partnership to find a solution that works for everyone. So we're data-driven, and we get a lot of information from different departments. And so far, so good. I think we had a great year. It's new, it's evolving, it's changing. Everyone's been very supportive and helpful, and we're very grateful. And we'd like to thank you very much for putting us together and for being supportive of us. That's it. I'm not going to read this document. There's a lot to it,
Thank you.
but that's it.
Thank you. We'll take questions from Mr. Kiley. Representative Georgiadis.
Do you mind if I grab my water?
Hi, Drew Georgiadis, District 9. Thank you very much for your comprehensive update. I'm sure that everybody in Town Hall knows that I push that button a lot to request action in my neighborhood, the alert button. I used to go to the police commission a lot. I would collect my constituents and we would go and we would present our case for the crosswalk, for the stop sign, for the flashing lights in front of St. Paul's, a variety of things. So here's my request to you. I submit my request, I get a recognition, and then it's nothing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know when you're going to talk about it. I don't know when I can bring my constituents in to, so that we can present why we think this is a good job. I don't really know what's going on. I just wait. Then one of my items was passed. It was a do not block intersection on North Benson as requested by one of my constituents. Then the sign didn't go up. So I called and they're like, oh, it's a state road. Well, if I hadn't called, I wouldn't know that. The sign is still not up and it's 6 weeks later. So I would request that you increase the amount of involvement with the people that are requesting, provide them more information, tell them if they want to come to the meeting, when that meeting is going to be, when that item is going to be discussed. Because at this point, the old way where we could have our voice heard was preferable. So can you please address that?
Thanks, Drew. Okay, so one of the biggest challenges we faced is the inputs of information, okay? And there's probably 10, 12 different ways that information used to come in to either the police commission, the police department, public works, engineering. It was coming in from a different source almost every time. So what the administration is doing, along with the CSLT, they've been meeting for months, trying to take all of those inputs and get them funneled into the Q alert system so that everyone's going into the same system, right? It's taken some time. This is new, right? So if you could be patient with us, I can assure you we're going to have a positive outcome for everyone that has issues, concerns, and is looking to get things done. So that has somewhat recently been resolved, I would say. And our two commissions are working together in concert to make sure that everything is seen, everything is heard, everything is responded to, and everything gets to the proper channel that it has to go to. For instance, not everything that comes in from any of those sources or even through the Q alert system does make it all the way to the Fairfield Traffic Authority, because some things are solvable before they get to us. An example would be, you know, the dead end sign on my street got knocked over, or the plow knocked it down. That comes in, that gets resolved by Public Works. So what we've had to do, I made the recommendation to the administration that we need to have a person other than Meg High, who's doing all of this work and her regular job and reviewing all of these inputs. There needs to be a resource within the administration in one of the departments to be that person that you just described, to be able to reach back out to the person and say, your sign's going to be replaced by Public Works. It doesn't necessarily require a vote or a public meeting or a public hearing. It's on the docket to get done, and it will get done, and here's the approximate time that it will get done in. Or there are things that come in that really you can't do, right? I live on Post Road and I want to put speed bumps on Post Road. You can't do it, right? It's a state road, it's unsafe. There's about 20 reasons why you can't do it. So in that case, it would probably be the police department or somebody from the police administration to go back to that person and let them know, hey, we heard your thing, we read it, we can't do it, here's why. So that's the piece that you just described, which is the gathering of all those inputs, evaluating them. Some get pushed out to departments, some get pushed back to the folks. Well, they should all go back to the people to be responded to. Some make their way all the way through the system, get to an FTA agenda for consideration of vote. So we're not 100% there, but we're getting there. Does that help? That's the goal, that's the plan, that's what we're working on. Absolutely. You bet.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Other questions?
Going once?
Any online? Representative
yeah.
Carroll.
Keep forgetting your question.
Kevin, Chris Carroll, District 8, through you, Madam Moderator, to Kevin. Do you know that the traffic calming measures, or how will you know the traffic calming measures on Old Post Road, for example, are working? I know the snowbanks are working to slow traffic on North Pine Creek this week. A neighbor said to me, can you get that road plowed? I said, no, leave it like this until the spring because it's slowed down.
Visibility is slowing.
Right. When will you know, is there any intention to have some measures in place to say, this works, let's transfer this knowledge to other roads in town?
Sure. That will be an ongoing learning curve for us as a new body to take those results and understand what they are. Our engineering department and the folks that monitor traffic from the police department, it all depends on exactly what the situation is, whether we're monitoring speed with, I forget the name of the monitors, the Black Cats, right? Or whether we're monitoring traffic flows through counting cars. That's typically a combination of police monitoring and engineering involvement to make sure that we piece the two together to find out if A, what we did worked, because not everything works, right? You try things and so sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. And I think one of the greatest inputs we do get is from the public. You know, we do something, we make something, we change something. It looks like it works. Even the measurements say it does work, but sometimes one thing causes something else. Like when you're trying to calm traffic, there are specific methods to calm traffic, to slow cars down, but sometimes there are unintended consequences of other things that happen because you slowed the cars down. So it's a give and take with all those departments. But when we do come back with that information, it is our role to reevaluate and make any adjustments that we might need to make.
Thank you. Other questions? Any online? Oh, Representative McCabe.
Michelle McCabe, District 4, through you, Madam Moderator, first a comment, then a question. I just want to say congratulations and to point out how extraordinary Fairfield is to have a multidisciplinary traffic authority. I mean, it is unique, it is huge, and it means that everybody that has a role to play in road safety is working together and can air complaints and concerns together and solve problems together. So yay, Fairfield. Two quick questions. One, do you happen to know the date-ish of when the automated traffic enforcement devices will be installed at the school zones? And the second is, do you have a method by which to prioritize projects as they come through? Because I imagine that there are a lot and that you most likely have to pick and choose how you stagger things getting done. Thank you.
Both. The traffic cameras, I spoke to Chief Paris this afternoon, and Chief Paris and the police department could not be here tonight, but he did inform me that he has invited the RTM to an open house Monday night at the police department, and he will specifically address the traffic cameras and anything else that you folks would like to talk to him about that evening. However, as of right now, the planned rollout date subject to the vendor performing, subject to UI partnering with us on getting power to poles and things like that, and subject to Mother Nature. The planned rollout date is April-ish. So if you want to be aggressive, I would say early April. If you want to be conservative, I would say April 30th or May 1st, and that's still give or take a little bit, all right? And then once that happens, if it happens, and let's say it's May 1st, then there's going to be some implementation time. There's going to be some overlap of what has to be done. Things like this just don't miraculously happen on day one and they're up and running. That's not realistic. And then there's a 30-day window where if you do speed and you do get a ticket, you aren't going to have to pay for the ticket. So realistically, before they're up, operational, working, and putting tickets out, end of May, June 1, give or take. You know, but so that's the answer to that. And the other question? Prioritizing, thank you. The prioritization comes from really the Complete Streets leadership team is the group within town that is taking those inputs before they come to us. And they're looking at them and they're deciding which direction this request goes, how important is it compared to the other ones. They're all important, and prioritizing that list of which ones need to go back to a department or forward for a voting item on the Fairfield Traffic Authority agenda. Now, we have 2 or 3 of our members that are on that commission as well, and we work together to talk about things and look at things. So maybe it's a little informal, but there is a lot of formal review within their body to look at things, to prioritize importance, value, timing, and what has to be voted on. Is that helpful? Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Other questions?
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you, Mr. Kiley. All right. Item number 8, to consider and act upon the minutes of the special meeting held on December 8, 2025, the informational meeting held on December 8, 2025, and the regular monthly meeting held on December 15th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve? Representative Blanchard, a second by Representative Wackerman. Is there any discussion? All right, any public comment on the minutes? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right. Passes. Moving on. Item number 9. To hear, consider, and act upon the following appointment to the Ethics Commission as recommended by the Board of Select Persons. Erica L. McCarthy, D., 90 Rygate Road, term July 2025 to 2027. Do I have a motion to approve? Representative Carroll, seconded by Representative Zazama. Any discussion? All right. Public comment. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right, that motion carries. Item number 10, to hear, consider, and act upon the following reappointments to the Fair Rent Commission as recommended by the Board of Select Persons. Ahmed Ibrahim, unaffiliated, 18 Old Stratfield Road, term November 2025 to 2028. Carl A. Uzgat, oh gosh, please don't let me butcher this, Uzgatagwe, D., 122 Tunxas Hill Cutoff, term November 2025 to 2028. Do I have a motion to approve? Representative Pistilli, seconded by Representative Waldron. Any discussion? All right, public comment. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right, here we go. That motion carries. Item number 11. To hear, consider, and act upon the following appointment to the Dwight School Building Committee as recommended by the Board of Select Persons. Jeffrey Algadenzi, U., 118 Green Knolls Lane, to fill vacancy created by the resignation of Joseph P. Diorio, D. Do I have a motion to approve? Representative Blanchard, seconded by Representative Zezima. Representative Zezima.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Liz Esma, District 4. For this item, I'd like to motion to amend Mr. Galdenzi's party affiliation from a U to a D.
We have a second, Representative Pistilli. All right, any discussion? Comment? So all those in favor, this is just to amend? Oh, sorry. This is just to amend the U to a D right now. All right, all those in favor? Aye. All right, opposed? Abstentions? All right, so we're going to go back, and the motion on the table is to approve Jeffrey Algadenzi D to the Dwight Building Committee. And any discussion? Public comment?
Hi, my name is Lauren Efren. I'm the chair of the Dwight Building Committee. I just wanted to comment on Jeff. He reached out to me actually shortly after I became chair, as he is the acting chair for the only other school building committee that is still ongoing right now, the HVAC Building Committee. And he just wanted to share some pearls of wisdom and, give me a few pointers, things that he wished he had known before he became chair. And I found that hugely helpful. And then since he has been nominated, he has started coming to our past, 4 or 5 meetings, just sitting quietly in the audience so he could follow along. So I'm thrilled to hopefully have him come on board with us. And we've been meeting a dozen or so times.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Oh, one abstention. Makes sense. All right, that motion carries. Dwight Committee, lucky to have him. Thank you. All right. Item number 12, to consider and act upon the following appointments to the Board of Assessment Appeals as recommended by the Chairman of the Board of Assessment Appeals in accordance with Section 8.1 of the Code of the Town of Fairfield. Catherine Eli Gusson, D, 2453 Burr Street. I'm going to do the term at the end. Adele Josovitz, D, 126 Rosemere Avenue. Christina E. Kelly, R, 117 Colonial Drive. Laura L. O'Brien, D, 178 Glengarry Road. And the term for each BAA hearing is the BAA hearing and decision sessions during 2026. Do I have a motion to approve? Representative Nichols, seconded by Representative Pistilli. All right. Any discussion? Public comment? All right. All those in favor? Signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right. We got our BAA appeals people. That motion carries. Item number 13. To hear, consider, and act upon the following resolution as recommended by the Board of Select Persons. Resolved that the fourth modification of right of repurchase by and between Rooster River Plaza LLC regarding unit number 1501 Kings Highway East, Fairfield, Connecticut, be and hereby is approved. Do I have a motion to approve? Representative Brayman, seconded by Representative Carroll. Any discussion? All right, public comment. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right. That was the end of our agenda. We have no further business because it's a special meeting. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Representative Welk, seconded by Representative Pistilli. We stand adjourned.